What's up, everyone? Happy Easter, happy Sunday. William Pan coming to you from Cupertino, California. Today is April 12th, 2020. It's just after 5 o'clock. And today we're covering a live streaming lesson on egg beaters, an egg beater breakdown and how egg beaters work. You know, naturally you think of eggs, we're coloring and painting eggs in the household. We did the egg hunt earlier. So, it's obvious to do a lesson on egg beaters. But the question is, how do we do it in a way that is different than every other egg beater lesson that you've come across? So very quickly, we're gonna move this pretty quickly. Let me just actually mention a couple things before we do so. The first thing is, amazing. Is this for the lesson? Oh, like my daughter wants to show everyone. It's egg beaters. Oh, look. Yeah, you made that. Oh, John wants to go awesome. Okay, all right. So back to the lesson. Real quick, there is a free handout that's associated with today's lesson. Thank you guys for joining me on your Sunday off. Let us know where you're coming from. If you're just coming in for the first time, my name is William Pan. We do these weekly Sunday lessons on drumming. We hope everyone is doing well in this uncertain time that we're in right now. But this is just as much about the community component of us coming together and drum for a little bit as it is about the drumming content. So say hi to each other. You can start seeing some familiar faces in the comments. We'll say hi to everyone here in a second. And if you're looking for a free download today, it's linked on my webpage, which is williampan.com/free lessons. You can see it down there in the overlays. Instagram, it's linked to my profile for those of you who are watching on Instagram. And you can download this free handout, which you'll see over here somewhere. Oh, it's down here. Okay, so you come down here and you scroll down to Season 4, Episode 07. And those are the eggs that you just saw my daughter painted this morning. So you go in here and then we'll email you this handout. So let me just open that. You'll come to this page so that we can send you the handout. And then let's just get into it, which is this bit here. So most commonly when you see this, man, there's like a crazy delay on my computer. I think it's getting a little warm over here in the afternoon. So egg beaters, if you just want the down and dirty version, it's a sticking pattern, typically grouped over 5 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you play it off the right, it's right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, left, left. And if it's off the left, left, right, left, right, and so forth, okay? Now, quick backstory. Let me just say hi, everyone. Hey, Ben, what's going on? Hi, Robert. Welcome to the room. MP Drum Pad, Marcus, welcome. Hi, Dakota. Jordan. Hi, guys. How's it going? And then Facebook, make sure you guys let us know where you're watching from as well. I need to pull up the comments window because I can't see the Facebook comments. So if you guys just want to say what's up. Oh, there we go. Hey, what's up, Nolan? Hi, Eric. Confetti eggs. Yes. Nolan's coming in from Chattanooga. It's getting bad. Is getting bad storms right now. Okay, Nolan. All right. Well, stay safe down there. Thank you, guys. And Facebook, YouTube, everyone that's coming in right now, thank you for coming in. Okay, let me get to the content because that's what you guys are looking for right now. So when I learned egg beaters, it was kind of just like, hey, here's the sticky and go figure it out. And what happens is when I'm figuring stuff out, okay, a little bit of context. I've been exploring things that I know how to do, but I'm thinking about them in terms of like, how would I teach it to someone now? And what has happened to me and to I think a lot of teachers over the years is you learn something and you don't really know how you learned it, or sometimes there are things that you naturally pick up that a student may not naturally pick up, and you just kind of fill in the gaps. And egg beaters for me would be one of those things. So I first experienced egg beaters when I was in high school, 8th grader going to 9th grader. We had this cadence called monkey beat. Shout out to Lou Boulderghini if you happen to be watching this, but Lou was my high school teacher for a short period of time at the beginning of my high school career, and like monkey beat was the jam. And the last line of monkey beat was, and then there was a fill, and the fill was, right? So the whole thing was, right? And then one day he showed us this variation. He's like, hey, you can fill in egg beaters in the and of one. So it's instead of it was, and I was like, what? And you know, of course, my 9th grade brain exploded. You're playing 5 notes. That's sticking. I mean, I could barely play a double stroke roll at the time, and then he's saying like playing 3 notes. And then, you know, I didn't understand the math behind it at all. I just kind of like copied by rote. It was, so if you break it down slowly, it's 10 notes over, it's 10 16th notes over 3 8th notes. So you're starting in the and of 1, and you land on beat 3. Right, so it's like all sorts of complicated, and I just kind of did it, you know, I just figured it out and I just did it. And now the educator in me is like, okay, well, how would I teach someone how to play egg beaters? And you know, I watched some videos online. There's some excellent, I'm going to shout out Vic Firth lesson videos online right now. If you have, there's just like a wealth of material on there. So I was watching, like Tom Unks was teaching me how to play egg beaters this morning. I was watching and how he explained it, and he had some really good comments on there. So if you're looking for how to work your egg beaters, that's one video lesson that I would refer to. And so I was thinking, like, well, why would I do a lesson on egg beaters today? What is it that I could add to this that isn't in the mix? And so one thing that was mentioned in Tom's video, and then another Vic Firth video that I saw, was like, typically you'll see these in this kind of context where instead of quintuplets, where you have like 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3, right? Instead of feeling it in that 5, a lot of times you'll see it in this dotted 8th note figure, which is what I played earlier in that monkey beat example I showed you guys, right? So you have like 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and a 4 and. So one example that they gave in that lesson video was, oh, make sure this is still coming through. The phone over just shut off. One example was 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 and. Let me put this with the metronome so you guys can hear the beat. I'm going to try to be a model good behaviors here. Okay, so this is 80. Right? And you could, I mean, that's pretty easy to grasp. Someone can see that and be like, okay, I understand what he's doing. He's playing, right? But then I think of all my beginners and my high school students who maybe don't have, you know, like 3s and 4s have just kind of been a recurring theme in our Sunday lessons for the last few weeks. And one thing that I didn't learn until I started teaching was that this hugadic motion is one of those things that my teacher showed me. I picked it up. I didn't really think twice about it. He was like, do this. And maybe in hindsight, I think it was because of a lot of my drum set background stuff, you know, and for some reason this natural decay and 3 controlled notes that get progressively softer, you know, we use this most commonly in a flam tap breakdown, right? But this motion for a lot of beginners and advanced intermediate players over the years, when I showed them this, I realized that this didn't always come natural for people, right? So you've got that piece, and then you've got the component of like, well, how do you go from this to, all right? So today, this morning, I just spent a little bit of time goofing around. I was like, okay, if I were to teach egg beaters now to somebody from beginning to end, how would I go about doing that? And that's what we're going to talk about in today's lesson. What's another way that you can break down your egg beaters? And admittedly, my left-hand egg beaters are not nearly as fluid as my right-hand egg beaters because I just don't play them off the left very much. And so I tried this breakdown that I'm about to show you off my left. And I was like, oh, this is how I would work it if I was going to work it now, okay? So let's take a look at that. Let me just say hi to a few more people as you're coming in. Hi, Kara, coming in from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Also, rough storms. Hang in there, guys. And then Jaime. Hi, Jaime. Hola. Welcome. All right, Oliver Perquin, little boy, the only Peppa Pig. My daughter's been watching Peppa Pig lately, so. Okay, so let's get into it, guys. So the foundation, I really think this is true actually, now that I think about it, is like there's a separation between Hagedicks and when you play threes. There is a connection, right? I think when you're playing threes slower, I mean, like, I'm kind of controlling all those notes. It's one wrist motion, a little bit of arm, and I am using some finger control on the back. You can see that I'm initiating that with my wrist motion here. Yeah. And each note is getting progressively softer than the other note. Is this sound coming out? Okay, sounds good. Okay. And then as you get faster, you get to this point where you're not playing Hagedicks anymore, and you're just kind of bouncing, and it's towards the front of your fulcrum. You know, it's up towards here and more back here. So I'm pretty much just bouncing with a little bit of finger motivation in the back, right? So how do we get from there to, we're going to build it up into an egg beater. Okay, so the first thing that I would show you, if we were doing this together, is you've got to figure out how to get this Hagedic breakdown. Now, for all the teachers, I say this in all my lessons, if you're a teacher and you're watching this live stream and you have some additional examples or approaches or strategies that you use, please, please, please help all of us by leaving that in a comment down below, right? Because you can see this in the replay. All those comments will show up later. And this is just as much about me learning from the community as it is about sharing what I know, right? And so if you have a great way of explaining how to get this Hagedic breakdown to your students, I'd love to hear how you do it, right? And so up to this point, maybe you've been telling your students a lot, like, hey, use your wrist. We're going boop, boop, boop. We're using our wrist for this motion, right? And then I tell students, like, you know, it doesn't work because a lot of students have never mowed the lawn before. I know that when I was a kid, hold on one sec. I know that when I was a kid, I would have to mow the lawn, and we had a crummy lawnmower, and to start the thing, you'd have to pull on it, and it goes and I was too small and too weak at the time, so I'd have to pull it a bunch, you know, of course, and the more you do it, the more tired you get, and then you're frustrated, and you're tired, and then you take like a 30-second breather, and then you give it one last go, you're angry, and go, come on, and then go, and it starts off, right? This was a reoccurring nightmare for me when I was in middle school and high school, but it's kind of like that with Hagedicks, right? You know, like you're amping up, and as opposed to triple beat, we're trying to get 3 even notes. A good strategy for this, by the way, is you can play quintuplet figures, also like groupings of 5. Because if you can play 5, 3 becomes a walk in the park, right? But in this instance, we're playing 3 notes where each note gets naturally lower than the first note. Most of the emphasis and most of the energy is going to that first note, and you just let that momentum carry through into the second and third note, right? And as I mentioned before earlier, this is what you'll see a lot of times in the flam tap breakdown. So again, the question right now is, how do we teach your hands how to go do, right? One thing that I'm thinking about, like maybe I'll use this extra time that we have to figure out how to, you know, admittedly, when I play drum set, and anytime I've ever had to play like a fast bebop, ding, 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 like it's like combination of arm pumping, and I am not doing a lot of this drop and catch business. Usually I just dum bam 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 bam, right? But maybe I'll use this time to figure out how to do this drop catch when I'm doing that to get a little bit more sound on that second and third note. Anyway, so right now we've got to figure out how to get this. Okay, and it's just going to take a little bit of experimentation. That's the best advice I can offer on this, right? Is if you're going to go, you can try right? You're just getting a one strong note, and you get a few notes to follow it after that, right? And then maybe 4 notes, and then finally get to 3 notes. Okay, so notice that I'm not going ba ba ba. I'm not stroking out 3 notes with my right hand. Right? Really, all I'm doing is I'm throwing the stick down, and I let my hands and my fingers stay on the stick. And it goes ba ba ba, ba ba ba. Okay, I totally overlooked this skill set when I was in high school, or after high school, like in college when I was teaching. I didn't teach my students this skill set for a long time. It's like, it's not a big deal, you know. And the only time I would teach is like, okay, right now we need a break. We need to work into flam taps now. And then they couldn't do it. I was like, oh, that's weird. Like they can't do this skill set. But what I realized is this is a lot of any sort of like chukka chukka chukka, like again that drum set thing, you know, that ability to flow between things, that comes from your ability to control but not get in the way of those 3 notes. It's kind of tricky. And again, I don't have a great way of explaining it, but it's going to take a little bit of experimentation on your part. Mitchell McIver says, find the right amount of pressure for 3 notes. Yeah, Mitchell says, like, you gotta find it, right? So, like, it's not this, right? And your fingers have to stay on the stick. Okay, so the first part of this breakdown, let me flash it up on the screen here for a second. The first part of this breakdown, come down here. Let's bring this bad boy up. And I'm going to move through this a little bit quicker for everyone today. We're going to look at this first line. My daughter's very patiently waiting for me. We're going to do our daily bike ride here in just a second. So we're going to look at this first line, okay? And this is kind of the core of this, is you've got to be able to get this bag-a-dup, 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 bag-a-dup bit down. Let's try 90. Dig-a-dig, dig-a-dig, dig-a-dig. Okay, so at this tempo, which is kind of a tricky tempo, we're not doing this. Where I'm stroking out every single note. In this case, I'm just throwing the first note down. It's not that, right? I throw the first note down, and I just let the stick naturally bounce bop, bop, bop for the second and third note. And I'm guiding it with my fingers, my hands. All my fingers are still in contact with the stick. And there's a little bit of at the very end, just like very, very, very subtle. Okay, just to keep the stick moving. And then you want to make sure, and Tom said this in his video too, it's like the sound quality is still got to be at the forefront of your mind. A great sound on that second and third note, and now where it kind of just like floats away and you're going to be tippy tapping. You still have to move that column of air through the drum to get that bottom head to get those snares to resonate, right? Okay, so let's try this. We'll do this a couple times through. First line, notice there's a repeat at the end of the first line. 1, 2, ready, go, and. And stop one more time. Keep thinking rhythm. Experiment with how much pressure you're having to use. Okay, so we could do a whole lesson on Huggedicks, which maybe we should do at some point, right? But that's kind of the first step of how you're going to use this Huggedick foundation to start building up to these egg beaters. Okay, any questions about this? I don't think I've seen any questions come through over here. What's up, guys? Hello, Jackson, Flowage, Seth, King, Steams. Hey, guys. Okay, great. And then how are we doing over here on Facebook land and YouTube land. Oh, great. We got some folks in the room. Hi, guys. Thanks. And those of you who are sharing where you're coming, I can see everyone's typing in where they're coming from. Say hi to each other if you're coming into the room. Okay. All right. Let's take it to this next line now, which takes us to this first rhythm. And it's going to be over a 5/4 bar. You're going to see why in just a second, right? But this first figure, you're going to see the sticking, the large, or the capital letters. You know, my buddy Eric and I, we debate this back and forth. It's not letting me highlight for some reason. Hold up. There we go. My buddy Eric and I, we nerd out and debate over these engraving notes, right? But the capital letters mean usually an accented note. And his argument is, and I totally understand it and agree to it, I've tried it in a couple of my own samples, where he just uses all capital letters, so all capital R's and all capital L's to signify right hand, left hand, right? And as a player, though, it helps me sometimes when I can just look at the sticking and I understand the implied articulation just by looking at the sticking, right? So I don't have to look up and down. The articulations are at the top of the note, stickings right below the note. So here you can see that, let me zoom in a little bit here for when they can see this, right? We have capital R is the accent and then 2 lowercase r's. Sometimes this capital letter, lowercase letter example also makes things click for some of my middle school students. I see that sometimes when they're like, oh, I see capital R, lowercase r, right? And then that left is low also, right? And we do that 4 times. So without, let me come up here. Without the music, we get. So what we're working now is connecting this 3, because I've also seen students who have troubles. They go, or they go, right? So we're doing this first connection point. How do we connect the right hand to the left hand? It's the same concept of when you're teaching buzz rules. And there's always that step of like teaching students how to connect that right buzz to the left buzz or the left buzz to the right buzz. Here, we're connecting that first left hand to that 3, right? So the syncopated pattern that I came up with over a 5/4 bar looks, if I can get this to do what I want it to do, looks like this. And guys, I can hear those comments coming through. Just keep talking yourselves as we do this. Don't mind me. Okay, and you can hear the groove. Ba-ga-da-da, ba-da-da-da, 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 ba-ga-da-da, ba-da-da-da, 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 dig-a-da-da, ba-da-da-da, 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 dig-a-da-da, ba-da-da-da, dig-a-da-da, ba-da-da-da, um-ba-da-da, ba-da-da-dum, da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da. Right, so as we're doing this, you can also use this as a timing exercise, right? So again, I mentioned earlier that I'm spending this time figuring out things that I can't do or like are weird for me. Sometimes you slow it down, you just make it a little bit uncomfortable, and you figure out, well, why is this making it uncomfortable for me? And then you work it out. So in this case, you can move your feet 3, 4, 5. One E and a, 2 E and 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 5. I can't do that. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 5 E and a, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 5 E and a, 1 E and a, E and a, 3 and a, 4 E, a 1 E, a 5 E and 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 and 4 E and a, nope. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 5 E, a 5 E and a, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 5 E and a. Well, that's tough, right? But in my head, I'm just thinking ba-da-da-dum, ba-da-da-dim, ba-da-da-dim, ba-da-da-dum, 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 ba-da-da-dum. Okay, so granted, there is a lot of space in here, and it makes it a little bit kooky at this slower tempo. But what I was experimenting with this morning was you've just taught your hands the hand speed here, right? So it's the same hand speed. So that transfer is what I'm looking for, is that the same hand speed that we used in our Hugadics This is the same hand speed that we're using for this. Right? Typically what happens when you learn egg beaters or see them for the first time, you're playing like, I was just like, hey, play an egg beater. You're like, and you're just kind of like guessing and making it an even 5 the best that you can, which that's part of it. You're just kind of, again, just experimenting and figuring it out. But here I'm trying to codify like, hey, this is my hand speed. Okay, so let's play line 2 now. And it's going to be one's off the right, one's off the left. And this is film 2. I call them films because this is a reference to X-rays, digital X-rays, which I learned from my mentor and colleague and good friend, Brett Kuhn. You take something that's complicated and you break it down into X-ray films. I call them films because you look at X-ray films, and this is film 2. All right. 1, 2, ready, go, and. Again, and. Right, so again, we're getting some reps here on our left-hand egg beaters. Right, so this is an example of how when I learned these, I'm different from when I learned them. When I learned them, I just was doing them. Come on, here we go. Right, there we go. I just did them, and I only did them off the hand that I was playing, which was off my right. And I never bothered to practice them off my left, which is why my left-hand egg beaters don't sound as good. I mean, I can do them. They need some work, right? So this is how you could systematically practice it off the right and off the left. And that was 90, so let's move it up a little bit. We're going to move through this here in a second. You're going to see how it picks up steam in just a moment. 2 and 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, one thing that I'm doing right now at this time, and this is very, very important. I'm trying to notice how it feels and how it sounds when it's right. Okay, so what does it feel like when I'm flowing? It feels relaxed. 3 notes are equal. I'm controlling the notes but not getting in the way of the natural rebound of the stick. What does it feel like right now? And I'm trying to remember this so that as I get faster and then it starts to feel uncomfortable or right, I have to be able to reference this moment, this feeling that I'm feeling right now, and then trying to replicate / transfer this to the faster tempos. Okay, so do it again, and if this doesn't feel good to you, that's okay, that's normal. Just slow it to a tempo to where it does feel good and normal for you. So, but at this tempo, it should feel very fluid, at least where my hands are at this point. This is 100 on the metronome. 1, 2, ready. Okay, let's try one more. 110. 1, 2. 1, 2, ready. Right, and I still hear that. Right, you want to hear that backbeat as you're playing this. Right? Right. Okay. I can hear the collective right coming through. Okay, we're going to back it back down for a second. Let me say some hi to some folks, and I think I see some questions coming through. Feel free to throw in some questions, and we're going to do a very short Q&A at the end of this. So if you have extra questions, you can have those at the ready also, okay? Jabari, what's up, man? He says, I used to go back and forth with the capitals. I prefer all caps, but I think my students prefer capitals only on accidents. Accents. Yeah, only on accents. Yeah, that's a good point. Let us know in the comments. Is it capitals and lowercase, or all capitals, or all lowercase? You know, let us know what your preference is in the comments. Thanks for letting me know, Jabari. That's great. Curtis, hi. How's it going, Curtis? Good to see ya. And then I think I saw a few more questions coming over here. Viz Audio, what's up, Brian? Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Ro, Barkus says how to strengthen the left hand. That's a great question. Love how you let the six breathe the whole time. Omarito, thank you. That's a great point, Omarito. Let me kind of highlight that for someone who may not know what you're referring to. 3223. Hi, Jason. Welcome. Hi, guys. Random. Great. Thank you very much for your comment, Omarito. So the question from Barkus earlier was, how do you strengthen the left hand? And we're doing it right now. And this lesson is just as much an example of like the theoretical, which is if you want your left hands to be stronger, you just have to do the reps off the left hand. A lot of people are like, oh, my left hand's weak. It's not as strong as my right hand. Yeah, that's everybody under the sun at some point. So you just have to practice it off the left. Off the left is like one of my main tips. We did a whole Sunday live stream about this. So if you go into the Facebook/YouTube archives on my channel, facebook.com/WilliamPan, youtube.com/WilliamPan, subscribe, follow. We did a whole thing on strategies to make your left hand stronger. And we're doing two of them right now. One is to do it off the left. And the second strategy that you could do is to play your left hand twice as much as your right hand. So in this instance, you could do this. I'm sorry, let me bump it back up to, like, let's say 110. Twice as much. Right, whatever it's going to take, you just have to give your left hand more time to develop, and be patient with it, right? Omarito's comment about letting the stick breathe. As we're doing this, notice that I'm not clamping down on the stick. You mean? So as we're doing this, I'm not holding onto the stick and squeezing down like this, right? You can still hear the resonance as much as possible, because in a second we go fast. You're not going to be able to hold on to the stick as much. Okay? All right, let's go to film 3. And we're down here. Let me just play it first, and then you guys will, and then I'll pull up the music. Because sometimes, you know, everyone learns a little different. Hey guys, thanks for coming in. If you're just joining the room, make sure you say hi to everyone and just say like, hey, what's up everyone? Joe here, Sam here. Hi Maria, welcome. Capitals on accent. So maybe Maria uses both capitals and lowercase letters. Okay, so as we're doing this, this next bit we're going to fill it in now. So it looks like this. One more time, I went a little too fast. So we're just filling it in. 1 E and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. No. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 5 E and. So it ends on the end of 5. Sorry, 1 second, guys. Sorry, everything is starting to blow up in the house. Kids are waking up. All right, let's move this along. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 5 E and 1 E and a 2 E and a 4 E and a 5 E and. Thank you for those hearts, Drumline Blueprint, as we're coming in. Okay, so that's the part. Let me slow this back down, and we're going to put this with the metronome so it looks like this. Okay, so you can see how, because we built it up systematically like this, now we're doing it off the right and we're doing it off the left. So ideally, you don't have the problem that I have, which is having weaker left egg beaters than right-hand egg beaters, right? So if I You know, I just came up with this breakdown this morning. If I take my own advice now and I do this for like a week or two, then in theory, I think I could catch my... Because I have all the technical facilities in my left hand. It's just about working out that coordination of... Right? I think I saw a couple questions. Barkus says, I guess what I meant to ask is if how to say relaxed in the left hand, like accent type stuff, or would you say that's the same concept? Yeah. So Barkus, anytime you have tension that gets introduced, and I wouldn't say this is just particularly for the left hand. I mean, you can apply it to the left hand in this instance, right? But anytime you're doing something and you feel yourself start to get tense, I sort of mentioned this at the beginning of the lesson, which is you've got to go back to something that reminds you what it feels like to not be tense. So for example, if you start doing this and you feel your left hand cramping, then put it up right against something that doesn't make you feel tense, doesn't cause you to cramp, and reminds you what it feels like to be relaxed. So you could do this. All right, let me just do it at a tempo. This is what it feels like to be relaxed. Feels relaxed. Try to keep feeling relaxed. So for me, I feel just as relaxed on this as I do when I play this, right? But for you, you might do this. You might go, it feels great. So your two options are to slow down or put it next to something that reminds you what it does feel like to be more relaxed. And just do one. And then do two. And then do three. And then four. And then you can go the other extreme, which is you chop out and you work your chops and you do a bunch of these. Okay? And I told a story about this. When was this? Chops, the chops lesson. There was a how to build chops lesson that we did a couple Sundays ago. And my first year of drum corps, which is a long time ago, 2001 Phantom Regiment, every day after our 12-hour rehearsal days, we'd go back to our housing site, and all the snares were living together at the same housing site. And Jonathan Morell, our center snare, would hold these chop sessions. And I remember he would say, like, okay, metronome's on, and he'd have us, okay, here we go, triple beat. And it's one thing to do like 4 of them or 8 of them, but to sit there and do that for 5 minutes straight, you know, the last 3, like, I remember there were like grown men sitting there going, as they're doing this lesson, and he'd be like, come on, shake it out, keep breathing, okay, and everyone's dying, and he'd be like, okay, 8s, and everyone would be like, all right, enjoy it while you can, because here we go, triple beat. Right? And you've got to go through that phase where you're just lifting weights, man. You're getting stronger. You're developing those chops. And that's going to be a period of growth that you go through so that you can stay relaxed. Yeah, Robo, you're laughing at me over here. But you see people who have chops, they know what we're talking about over here. Eric Holston says, hi, this beat reminds me of a guitar line from Tool on a song called Jambi. Thanks for the lessons. Ooh, Eric, I'm going to check that out, right? Because the next thing I would recommend is you find a tune that's got a 5/4 groove, and then you play this exercise over, okay? So let's look at this. Let me pull up the music for all of our notation fan readers, which is a great thing, right? If learning comes easier for you when you see the notation, then keep working on your rote learning, and vice versa. If you learn better through rote, then work on reading your notation, okay? So we're going to play line 3 now. Let me scroll this up just a little bit so everyone can see what we're talking about. Okay? All right, it looks like this. And 1, 2, ready, and go. And two, ready, and one more time. Okay, and there are specific things that I have to feel and think about at 80, quarter note equals 80 on the metronome, that are going to be different than when I do it at 90, at 100, 110. This is where I talk about doing each of the tempo stair steps. If you're doing 4 beat increments, 8 beat increments, 10 beat increments, whatever it is, you're going to feel and have different tendencies at different tempos. So that's why it's important for you to work all the tempo ranges and all the dynamic ranges as you're doing this. Like if you do this same tempo, 80, at 6 and 3, that feels different than when we do it at that full height, right? So make a chart for yourself. Do every combination that there is, every tempo with every dynamic height. Okay? All right, keep going. This is 90. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, and let's do one more. This is 100. 1, 2, ready, go. Right? So even now, I can feel that the left hand 5 grouping is getting less awkward for me. Like I'm starting to build correct habits, and I'm trying to catch my left hand up to my right hand, right? So with this approach that we're using right now, it's the same way that we might build flam taps or flam accents. It's off the right, it's off the left. We're gradually layering on the demand as we go, and we're just trying to keep it just as relaxed and fluid as we get faster and make it more complicated. Okay? Danny says, should I try and practice the left hand with thumb and finger? So maybe, I think you're referring to this, Danny, where you take your fingers off. Yeah, you can do that also. It definitely takes more control on your part to be able to do it like that. I would see if you could do it with just your regular technical facility. And you can do that maybe as like a challenge yourself bonus if you've exhausted and you can play it really well the other way. Okay. Jason says, looking forward to your traditional class. Oh, awesome. Thanks, Jason. Thanks for checking that out. For everyone that might have missed the beginning of the stream, I do have my newest video course. It's out now. It's in the beta launch period. So we've gone through the pre-order. Now we're in the beta launch. So it's at a reduced price, drumlineblueprint.com/courses. And it's an entire course focused on just left-hand traditional. How do you set up your hand, the things that I talk about, and how do I think about my left hand, the exercises that you go through, match grip versus traditional grip, left hand chops, and then within this beta launch, we're working with all the members right now. I'm trying to answer all the questions that they come up with during the course so that when we do the full release, then like 90% of the questions will be answered. And then we have a private group for everyone that's in that course so that everyone can talk to each other and share videos. When I see the videos, I can say, hey, try working on this. Oh, I'm using a lot of arm weight. How do I work on my left hand wrist rotation? And so there are videos for all those questions that we're getting within our private community. And basically, if you come in on the beta launch right now, you'll have lifetime access to all the updates that go forward when we do launch the course at full price. So if you want to check that out, drumlineblueprint.com/courses, and it's Left Hand Traditional Pro. Thanks for that shout out, Jason. Appreciate that. Okay, all right, let's do a couple more of these, and then we're going to put this in context. And then I want to show you guys a couple ways that you can maybe practice this in context, like in a show part, what that might look like. And then we'll do a little bit of Q&A at the very end. Again, Instagram folks, thank you for those hearts. And Facebook, YouTube, I can see you guys tapping out those hearts as well. If you're enjoying the content, please take a moment to follow, subscribe, and of course, share it out with someone that you think this might find this helpful. Okay, all right, here we go. A little faster. This is film 3. You probably have this memorized by now, so let's back out of here. 1, 2, and 1, 2, ready. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 110. So at 110, I can feel myself pushing a little fast here. Part of it is me, I'm just getting distracted here. I think my video feed has frozen on Facebook and YouTube. Guys, maybe you can let me know if that is the case for you. I've noticed that this happens sometimes when it gets too hot in the afternoon. But if that's the case, you can still listen to the audio, and I'll pull up the music here for you to listen, to follow along with. So I'm going to try this one more time. And another thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to play through each of these films at this new tempo. So one thing that you shouldn't be afraid to do is as you layer on demand, to back it, go back, right? If you do something all of a sudden like things start to get a little wonky, go back to where it's just the straight Huggedicks or just film 2, and then go back to the thing that you're working on, and that'll help kind of solidify all those correct habits that you're trying to program yourself with, okay? So this is film 1. 1, 2, ready, and. Again, thanks for letting me know, Eric, Jason. Film 2. Film 3. Ah! Oh my gosh. Okay, I folded on film 3. Give me 1 second. Okay, one more time. Yeah, YouTube, Facebook, sorry that my camera feed has since frozen, but I'll keep going just so you can follow along. You can play along with me and listen to me fold on film 3 as we do this. All right, here we go. Film 3, 1, 2, ready, go. Man. Okay, so I really wish the video wasn't frozen right now because I would show you how I would fix this right now. Okay, so for everyone else that's able to watch on Instagram, I'm folding when I get to the left hand of film 3 right now. And for me, at least, what's happening is I'm having trouble feeling ba-da-da-dum, ba-da-da-dum, da-ga-digum, ba-da-da-dum off the left. I don't know why, right? So now I just need to isolate that. So I'm going to do it all off the left hand. The first time is going to be, right, just this, the check, and then the second time will be the fill-in, off the left hand again. Okay, I'm just going to put those two back to back, all off the left hand. 1, and... Ah, 1, 2, again. Nope. Once more. Oh, that is really rough. So I know that at this 110 mark, things are a little bit goofy for me. And that's a place that I would start kind of zeroing in on and trying to figure out how to fix, right? Just for kicks, let me see what this feels like. So now the timing part of it is what's messing me up. And I've got this window that I know about now between 100 and 130 where off the left hand it starts feeling and getting a little bit weird, right? So YouTube, guys, Facebook folks who are too kind. And I don't know how to fix this video feed. You know what I could do? I think what's happening here, I'm going to do this. Yeah, this is my camera feed. You guys can see this. For some reason, the webcam is frozen. So I could try unplugging it and then plugging it back in, but that might cause my computer to blow up. Let's try it. Okay, so if this cuts off, everyone, thanks for watching and thanks for coming in as we're doing this. If it cuts off or just totally melts my computer down, thanks for watching this far, but I am, out of curiosity, going to try this. I'm going to try unplugging my webcam. All right, so that cut that signal out, and then I'm going to plug it. What is going on? This is turning into a part technology sample. The good news is that if I can fix it now on the fly, then if this happens in the future, I'll know how to fix it midstream. And now we know who our most devoted viewers are. Boom! Look at that! Dude, guys, we're back. It just refreshed web browser and it's fine. Oh, okay, awesome. So, those of you who stuck through and watched me, sorry I didn't show you how I was folding earlier, but thanks for sticking around. Let's try it one more time. This also sometimes happens where you do it for a little bit, you take a break, and then you come back, and then it's better. And that's really what happens when you practice, like a little bit every single day. Like I'll do today, and then if I come back tomorrow, I bet I'll be able to do this better tomorrow than I can do today. And then if I just do it again the next day and the next day, and I don't take any days off, again, over a week, like if you don't see me for a week, and I do this every day for the next week, you'll come back and you'll see me be able to go, right? You'll be able to see me do it better. But what 90% of people do is they practice for like a day or 2 or 3 days, and then they take a day off, and then take another day off, and then they take another day off, and they're just doing it like sporadically here and there, and they don't see that consistent gain. I'll give you an example. Personally, what I'm working on right now, I almost didn't do this live stream today. Honestly, like today was kind of a lazy Sunday for us. We got up, we made breakfast, we hung out as a family. It was super chill. My daughter wanted us to go bike riding earlier, and I hadn't made the handout for today yet. Like, there's all this goo that I've got to do before we do these live streams. I almost didn't do it. And I was just like, nobody will notice. But man, look at everyone who's watching right now and everyone that's catching this replay. This video wouldn't exist if I hadn't done it. And even having taken this week off from the daily live streams because I've been working on the left-hand traditional video course, it was a little bit slower to get started today than it was, say like 6 or 7 days ago. But because I have been daily live streaming for the last 3-4 weeks, I got it up and running pretty quick. So I would say that this live streaming thing is what I would liken to these egg beaters. If you're not good at it, then you just need to keep doing it consistently over time. And that's where you're going to see your gains, okay? David says, awesome, it's good for me. All right, so we've fixed this. Thanks, Zap's account, for letting me know. And let's play through each of these films, uno mas, and then we'll call it. We'll do some 120. Okay, 120 is like a good tempo, and we'll play each of the films. Okay, so film 1, just the straight hug dicks. And 1, 2, ready. Again. Film 2. Film 3. Again. Once more. It's the groove thing. I don't have this groove in my head. I don't hear the ba-ga-da-gum, ba-da-ga-dum, ba-ga-da-gum, ba-da-ga-dum in my head. I'm having trouble audiating that as I'm playing it, and it goes into straight fives. For me, at least. All right, let me try one more time. I can do this. Okay, I have to concentrate really, really hard in order to do that. But if I did this for 5 minutes every day for a week, I'm pretty confident I could get it. And I think you could too. So if this is making you uncomfortable, that's a good thing. A lot of people shy away from that. But, you know, I'm trying to show everybody the behind the scenes. Like, usually you see video of people just being perfect on video. And I'm trying to show you that, like, you're going to fold. When you encounter something that you can't do, like, relish in that and go, like, okay, well, why is that making it weird for me? What can I do to make it not weird? And if you've seen any of my other video lessons, you know I talk a lot about being familiar and unfamiliar. This is unfamiliar for me, and I'm like purposely seeking out the unfamiliar and trying to make it more familiar for myself. Okay, so thank you so much for those hearts, guys. Instagram, I know we're about to cut out on our feed here, we're about to run out of time, but I want to thank everyone for coming in and joining in today. Don't forget to talk about quality from hand to hand. Thank you, Rao Sir Sia. So of course you want your left hand to be just as strong as your right hand. It says tell my students at least 15 to 30 minutes a day. When I was in middle school, it was like a hard 30 minutes every day. As you get older, you know it's not about the time that you spend, but the intention and diligence that you're putting into your practice. But consistency, I think, is very, very important. The groove clicked for me. Awesome, Isaac. And as it says, for me, I continue to think about the 3 strokes in each hand. Yeah, so if you focus and just go ba-da-da-dum, 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 ba-da-da-dum. I'm getting lost in the groove. Yeah, that's going to take a little bit of work on my part. Ba-da-da-dum, ba-da-da-dum, ba-ga-da-gum, ba-da-ga-dum. Again, real quick, if you want to pick up the handout for today, that is hoyerandpan.com/free lessons. You'll find it up on there. Is that coming up? That's not coming up. Yeah. Overlays. It's not there. God, you think I know how to do this right now? See, this is me not streaming for like a few days and I can't find it. hoyerandpan.com/free lessons. You can find this download. And if you have any questions, check out the left-hand traditional video course and let me know if you want to jump into that beta launch. We're going to do probably one more week of that this week and then get everything done by the end of this week. Okay, so Instagram folks, thanks for watching, guys. D Min Young, thanks for coming in from Brazil. We just watched Rio this morning with the kids. So, all right, bye guys. We'll see you later. Facebook, YouTube, thank you guys so much. If you're still in the room, let me see if there are any questions. If not, then we're going to call it a day. I see some comments coming in. Bread Pill TV says, how am I watching this a 2x speed live? Oh, I don't know. That might just be the stream acting kooky on your end. Or my end, sorry. Eric says, I might be wrong on which song it is. It might be The Grudge from their Lateralus album, but I know it's familiar from a Tool song. Film B, I think. Oh, okay. I'm going to check that. Eric, if you happen to find it, drop a link in this Facebook feed because then people can check it out for future videos if you happen to find it. Okay? All right, let me try this one more time. Let's see if we can end this stream on a high note. If not, I apologize. All right. Film 1. Film 2. Film 3. The groove is not as good on film 3 as on the other groups. So that's something that I can work on this week. just out of curiosity, if I bump it to 130, see, like, it's easier for me at 130, and so now I know in that 100 to 120 range, that's where it's a little bit goofy, right? And maybe I'll never have to play at that range, so that weakness isn't there. But you know who knows that weakness is there? This guy. So I'm going to go ahead and make that my homework assignment for this week so that I don't have any weaknesses from top to bottom. 100 to 120, that's my practice assignment for this week. All right, YouTube, Facebook, thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate you spending a little bit of your Sunday with me. If you have any questions or suggestions for future topics for a Sunday session, please let me know. Send me a direct message. Again, just, anything that we can do to help everybody in this time the best we can. Teaching is what I do, and that's how I can best help our community right now. So if you're enjoying these video lessons, let me know. You can leave a comment. You can make sure that you're subscribing. Hit that Get All Live Notifications button at the bottom, or hit the notifications bell on YouTube, and then share this out with a friend if you think it would help them as well. Okay? All right, that's it for me, guys. Thank you for those outgoing hearts. We'll see you later. Have a great rest of your Sunday, and we'll hopefully see you in the next video lesson. All right? Bye, guys. See ya.